This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. The suggestion is that you contact us and we have a sort of interwoven relationship with part of it is us and part of it is you. That's I don't just read those things out just for the technical thing. It's a come hither statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll come hither, you guys out there.
Well put.
And remember this morning's texting. What's the upper age limit for wearing dungarees? 8, 12, 15.
Pace.
Yeah, well,
I think you can wear the dungaree. It's only the very exceptionally young and the exceptionally elderly.
do you think I think the exceptionally elderly, you've got to be an American doing rural work.
Absolutely. I was going to say,
yeah.
old
Yeah.
Pa Walton.
Yeah, you
I
can
mean,
be,
those types.
you can be old Pa Walton,
Yes.
certainly.
I intend to be, thank you.
But I had this debate with Faye, the assistant producer today, who's wearing white dungarees. Which, I mean, then you're going into Rod, Jane and Freddie territory. I say that because she won't know who that is. And I said, do you think if I came in dungarees it would be commented on? And she had nothing to say on it, which I took as an enormous yes. But I wonder what is. You see, I think age, as I've said before, the age 50 is, for me, is denim jeans.
Oh, you can't wear them beyond that.
No, that then.
Have you got rid of all your denim then? You've got a denim jacket on today. I'm just trying to put it out there.
Yeah, a jacket. I don't mind so much. It doesn't seem to. But denim jeans. You know what happened to me? I saw Dr. Jonathan Miller at a performance of La Boheme, which he had directed, and he had blue jeans on. And I thought, that's it for me. I'm not going down there ever.
It's a road to Damascus experience we can all relate to.
Yeah. Or as my cleaner said, it's a road to Domestos experience.
That's nice.
She never said
Fabulous.
that, but she will in the sitcom.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure someone did in Shane.
I had a lovely
It sounds
moment.
like a Shane talk.
It's very
Who knows what they said in Shane?
That is so Shane.
In case you're new to the show, Shane is my desperately failed sitcom on ITV. One might argue the home of the desperately failed sitcom.
Absolute Radio.
We had a lovely moment, Al, me and Emily, this week. No, it wasn't like that, but we were talking about motorway services at the end of the show last week. Not on air, but, just in case you think our off-air stuff is more interesting than our on-air, we were talking about motorway services.
Do you know, Frank, can I just say that's the only time Al has ever sounded slightly left out? Is when you said we were talking about motorway service.
Well, it would have been, if Al had been involved, we wouldn't have had the whole incident.
Wouldn't have got a look in.
Al would have been in like that. Basically, we were trying.
I'm interested.
I was trying to explain where Northampton is. And I was giving I was trying to measure it out in motorway services. I think there is a Northampton motorway services, but that would have been too easy.
Yeah.
So I said, what's the one when you come to the joint between the M1 and the M6? That joint. When you come to that, what's the one with two names? I was saying, and Emily was going, oh yeah, what the one with two names? And we were doing all those things. Like it begins with, and I kept saying Melton Mowbray, which of course is
Right.
Port Piesville.
It is.
And we couldn't get it. And anyway, the reason we were talking about Northampton is I was going away for a week in the vicinity.
Were you off to see the clown?
No, there's no mention of the clown. I'd love to have seen Alan Moore walking through one of the precincts.
Yeah.
I think he still lives there, the
lovely.
comic writer. But anyway, so I'm driving up there, and there is the ultimate aide de memoire. So I passed Newport Pagnell.
Yeah.
I
So
did
I-
think it was going to be Newport Pagnell. I should have
Well, I
known.
said you'd have been in like a Rocky.
And what was great is I just got a text from Kathy, completely out of context. Not, oh, by the way, Frank's remembered that thing. It just said 2 words, Newport Pagnell.
Yeah, well, I was driving,
Yeah,
you
I
see,
know.
and so I said, "Could you text Emily and just say Newport Pagnell?" And I remember saying,
That's good.
"Can you spell it?" There, look, there it is. And it's cheating because it's the remembering that counts. But I had an even worse not being able to remember. I don't want to call it a senior moment because I think I've had the most of my life that I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I always find them a joy, an absolute joy to when you do remember. People just Google it now because people. But anyway, I'll come back to it.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, so what happened to me on this holiday is
Oh yeah, in Newport Pagnell.
well, it was in Toaster, I believe they say.
Is it Toaster?
Yeah, it was a pop-up holiday.
Yeah. Did that cost a lot of bread?
Yeah. Anyway, so they've now don't let me just because we were doing me and my son slept in the same room, my 9-year-old son, and there was a bit I was sitting reading on the bed. He hadn't noticed I was in the room, and he walked in and said. Very casually as he walked in. It was quite an impressive entrance. He walked in and said, "Alexa, play No More Mr. Nice Guy." And then just went into the John. He went into the John. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then, they had Alexa there. And then he went out, and I thought I wouldn't mind a bit of quiet now because I was doing a little bit of work. So I went and I said, Eric, is it Erica?
Oh, no.
And I was getting it. Elsa, and of course it won't. I told it to stop. Can you stop playing the music, Eric? And then I tried it without the name at all. Just ignores you, you know. So I could not think. I could not think
Meanwhile,
of a
the
name.
music's blaring, presumably.
Oh, then you realise you're trapped. I had to work with, I think by that stage it was House on Fire by Alice Cooper. I couldn't stop.
Here's a
stop
question. Do you not have the option of renaming Alexa? For example, if you dated, let's say you were Alex Turner of the Arctic Monkeys and had once dated Alexa Chung and had broken up with her and it was a little bit sensitive.
Yeah.
You might not want to be saying that name all the time. Do they have the option of
I
changing?
don't know. Can they make it male? Like you can
yes.
with Satna?
I like the idea of Erica.
Well, it took me...
Erica.
It took me about 25 years to get out the habit of barking instructions at females in a domestic situation. You know, I've tried to avoid that. Now it's got me back into the habit.
We've had some news in from
I say please, by the way, to Alexa. I do say that.
Oh,
I
big
wow.
It doesn't seem to bother her.
Like one of
either
those
way.
people that thanks a cash machine.
I'll thank a cash machine, but not a bus driver.
Oh, I thank the bus drivers.
Thank
all
you,
the time.
driver.
Oh, I do that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Just you and old ladies. That's it. The only people that ever say thank you, driver.
He means me.
Driver. So to be addressed as driver. All right. I know that's what I do, but I'm a person. I suppose that's
find it
Alexa's
odd,
point.
I find it odd call people that refer to a cab driver as driver. My Australian godfather would do that. Can you slow down, please, driver?
Oh, yeah.
I find it rather strange. James,
I just call him cabbie.
you
I don't.
You ride up front.
But
You'll be riding
I don't
shotgun.
Do that. I don't do that anymore. I
You
used
ride
to ride up
shotgun?
front. Yeah,
You don't
well,
talk to them because you're eating their sandwiches.
sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not.
Okay.
But it's interesting because I didn't Google Alexa to find her name because You know, my rule is you can only Google what you don't know, not what you don't remember. And that's good for the brain because it helps you to remember. And the joy of going, oh, yeah, and then getting the name. And usually, if it was Alexa, you'd say, yeah, begins with N. Begin Nora, Noreen, and then Alexa, that's it. And that is a great moment that you've really achieved something, that you've found that in you. It was in you and you found it. And when you Google it, that's all gone. I just left the music playing, left the room. And it's not the first time I've left a hotel room not being able to remember the name.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Have we had any response to the upper age limit for dungaree wearing?
We have, haven't we, Al? We've had a few people getting in touch. We've had
number.
Oh, I've had a few firm numbers.
Oh, have you?
I've had a lot of pictures of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, he was an example of the yes, we'll go with you. I like to wear it with the dog-eared front panel. You know, when you wear it when they don't strap one side and the other side just hangs down, like the corner hangs over.
Artfully hanging down.
Seductive, even in an old gentleman.
Seductive.
We've got
seductive dungaree.
Yeah, I tell you who wore a seductive dungaree. Kylie Minogue in her mechanic days on Neighbours.
Great days. Good reference.
Yeah.
Great
Play
days.
well on Absolute 80s.
Do you want to know the official ages?
Yes.
James Marshall says girls 29, boys 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have Grumpy Dad, girls 18, boys 8, unless in a Dexys tribute band.
Well, I always used to say boys 8 for a turned up gene.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was saying it one day on air, and then when Al went for a toilet break, I noticed he was wearing them, and it was all
And
of
Mark
it.
Hermo turned up shaking his fist at the studio.
Yeah, exactly. It was all of it hashtag orcs. So I don't say that anymore.
No. A lot of people saying there's no age limit for dungarees and they still wear them at 51 plus.
Is this gentlemen? I think
the ladies.
I think women can wear blue jeans forever. I think it's it's the men, I think, who hit the ceilings, the denim ceiling.
You think?
For me, this is only my own opinion. You know, everybody's got one.
We've also heard on a few of the other plates that we've got spinning. We had 193 text in morning. We had to rename our Alexa to Echo because we have a 45-year-old granddaughter called Alexa. You're only given a couple of names. You can't choose your own.
Oh, okay. But there are options with Alexa.
Apparently, you can change it to Echo. Echo.
Oh, okay.
Echo.
I get it. Stop doing it now. I've got it. It's officially been got.
Can we just also remember, as Claire is reminding us, that every time Frank says Alexa, people's Alexas are getting very confused.
Oh, okay.
Oh, are they? I did wonder if that would happen.
Yes,
whenever
and they
Frank
keep
said
saying,
Alexa.
I don't recognise that.
Goodness, it's like being... who was the spoon bender guy?
Uri Geller.
Yes, like being him. Uri Geller used to stop everyone's watches across the UK.
Yeah, but he'd do all his paranormal stuff from the sofa at GMTV.
Yeah.
He said, I'm sending a message out to everyone.
Well, there's no restraint on his powers. It's not like a red sofa nullifies his powers.
I think he did try to use his powers to stop Brexit, though, which I'm not sure worked.
I remember there was a documentary where he was somewhere, I think, in Central America, and in the street, he tried to do a bit of street psychic work.
Oh, did he?
And he said, that dog, is it 3 years old? 3 years old. And the kid said, he's 12. Awful, just guessing, just bad guessing. It's nothing psychic about bad guessing.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
There was an incident last week after the show.
Uh-oh.
I got home and Kath had she was in tears when I got in, and she, we bought a dog a month back, and she dropped it on its head.
Oh.
Apparently, she had to make a decision quickly, and she didn't have a coin.
Oh dear.
So we were worried about it. So we took it to the vet, and it got I don't know, the vet. She.
The vet's a she or the dog?
No, the
they're
dog.
Both. They were all she's.
I just
okay.
I don't like it for an animal.
No, fair enough.
Okay.
So.
Alan's tone of voice. Okay.
Yeah, if you're going to eat one, it's all right with it.
Fine with it.
I know, but you have a
fine with
different relationship with
Imagine
animals
if you
than I
referred
do.
to steaks as he. Anyway, it's all fine. She got, I don't know what she got. I don't know how your vet works, but with my vet, they're very nice, but they take it into a back room and come back in and say 97 quid. Now, I don't know.
You.
They might have just stroked it.
I suppose it's quite difficult to tell if a dog's got concussion because they can't say, like, oh, what year is it? 2021. Like,
Yeah, or hold
it's
up.
not
How
very
many
easy.
fingers am I holding
yeah,
up?
exactly. Who
Although
am I?
I've got to say, of all the things that stick in my mind, there's things that have made me go, oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's seeing a horse count with its foot. You know that thing when they sort of scrape there?
Oh, yeah.
How many? So what is 5 and 3, Dobbin? Oh, that is astonishing. I don't think it's a trick. I think they actually... I
Think
don't
they're
know.
Counting?
I could be wrong. There could be
I've just
some
bought my
sort
son
of
a
lever.
scientific calculator. I feel like I should have just got him a horse.
There could have been some sort of equine lever involved that you can't see.
So is the dog okay?
The dog's absolutely fine. Didn't make me think.
Actually, the dog's been feeling rough.
For goodness me.
Wow.
Sorry. I've got a joke
you
from
finished
50
off
years
that.
ago that I'm working through today.
I was going to say you finished off that ice lolly quickly.
It's
Thank you.
very good. It's a rich man's game, though, having a dog. Blimey.
Yeah.
Tell me about
it's
it.
like Formula One.
Oh, it eats money.
I can't believe we used to have dogs when I lived, in a council house. I don't know how we ever afforded them.
I never think you've got
Suppose you made savings on like eating raw sausages and then the dog.
And also, if one had dropped on its head, it would have been like footballers used to be treated with concussion, like a coal sponge on the back of the neck. That'd be fine.
You took the Terry Butcher approach to the head injury. But also, Frank, bear in mind, you didn't have to spend money. You had no outlay. There were no collars to buy because you just let the dog roam the streets.
In those days, yeah.
For the day.
But now
it is expensive.
It's a very expensive game.
I knew I was in for a bit of a shock financially when I made the mistake of taking my dog to a lovely vet in North London, sort of not far from...
To a lovely vet as opposed to quite a cynical, callous vet.
Somewhat, yes. When I say lovely, I'm being euphemistic, expensive.
Oh, okay.
And I knew it was expensive, Frank, because the surgeon came out, I'm afraid he was having a removal procedure.
Okay.
And the surgeon came out in a white coat with the name in italics. And I thought you pay for that.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah, well, I don't, it's not, I don't want it to have brain damage or anything. So it's all checked, it's all fine. Don't start writing in saying down to that, because the dog is fine and it's all checked, and I paid through the muzzle for it.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Another brick has got in touch.
Another brick, yeah, okay.
Education.
Go on, say
Hey, Provost, leave those kids alone.
it.
Another brick has got in touch to discuss dungarees, and I'm loving Another Brick's work already. Doreen from it's making me laugh. Doreen from Prisoner Cell Block H wore the dungaree.
Oh, wow, what a fabulous reference.
Also, Another Brick. I love that you've gone singular with the dungaree.
Yeah.
She was probably in her 30s.
I imagine there was a 19th century sailing ship called the Dungaree. It sounds like that. I don't remember Lizzie from Prisoner Cell Block 8.
She liked a Rolly.
She had a sort of early Beatles haircut. Sort of circa with the Beatles, that kind of haircut.
I was a big fan of the governor. Do you remember the female or the governess?
I don't know.
Very big hair.
Okay.
Okay.
Lizzie had got an incredibly lined face. I remember she looked like the sort of peasant women that you used to see on the cover of National Geographic. I don't know if you can still use that term, but you know what I mean. Incredibly lined, I mean, in a way, beautiful, because people like that often don't get on telly. It certainly worked against me.
Now you tell me.
But she had the lines had got other, like capillary. Oh, fabulous, Lizzie. I hope she's still around, but I ain't put no money on it.
I think she's in Botox adverts now.
What if she looks really young? She looks like Paul McCartney in those old black and white pictures. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's Lizzie from Prisoner Cell Block 8. Maybe she's in the bootleg Beatles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
In case if you're under whatever 40, Prisoner Cell Block 8, you may have worked out, was about an Australian women's prison. It was quite a hard-hitting drama, wasn't it?
And there was a
sort of a precursor to Orange is the New Black, isn't it?
There was a lovely. Do you remember the theme song? Orange used to send me roses.
Oh yes. Yeah, that was an interesting idea to have a sort of romantic, lilting theme tune with the sound of barred doors sort of clanging shut in the background.
Well, I believe it then said, but that was on the outside. So there was a reference to the prison doors, cleverly.
You're looking through my peephole. Yeah. It was everybody watched it, and it was on like 11:20 at night, but it seemed like the whole world
was
was
too late
watching.
for me.
Yeah, well, now, of course, I couldn't make it.
It has a very...
I have to put it out before I go to bed.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. And email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I should be able to say radio by now, shouldn't I, in this line of work? The producer, Sarah, has just stopped me. I made a cup of tea and I've left it in the kitchen, and she actually stopped me from dashing to get it. No, don't get it. I don't want you saying, oh, yeah, he's got me running around getting tea for him.
This is nice for everyone at home. Hello.
You did only have 30 seconds, and I think
could get there easily and back in 30 seconds.
In the same way
Well,
that I could outrun Usain Bolt.
But
let's time it during the next long song.
Let's not.
This is the joy of live stuff. When you do the one show, you get salacious gossip up to 2 seconds before it begins.
That sounds good.
And then there's suddenly, hello and welcome to the...
There's a little bit of that here.
Yeah, there is a bit of that here, but I would rather lay it on other people's doorsteps than our own.
Okay.
Just in case people go off us because the salacious gossip thing.
Claire Cook.
That's not why they're going off us.
No. Are they going off us? Is that official?
Who said they're going off us?
I don't know.
Are they going off us?
I think it was in one of the ARIA speeches.
Oh, is that what they said?
Yeah, unfortunately it was Jason Manford. No, not really.
I've really gone off Frank Skinner. Claire Cook has been in touch to
I
say...
like her alliteration.
I like her discovery of parts of the world. Still rocking the dungarees at 63.
Wow.
And no plans to stop.
But as I say, Claire's probably a lady. And I think ladies can wear them forever. So that's okay.
That's very generous of you, Frank.
No, it's just true. It's like dyeing your hair. When men dye their hair, I think, oh, don't. When women dye their hair, I don't think anything of it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's because men, I think it's because there's possibly...
Fellas. This sounds like one of those Coronation Street. You know, fellas. There's conversations almost
That's the problem with your fellas.
Remember, I haven't watched it for 25 years, but that's what it used to be. Yeah, fellas.
The thing about fellas is that I think they tend to perhaps not always appreciate there are shades other than aubergine and burnt squirrel.
Yeah, you don't have to go purple. I don't know where that... Paul McCartney, one of the richest men on the rich list, had purple hair for ages. Happily now he's let it go.
He's let it be.
Yeah, he's let it be. That is tremendous work. But we can't come out the link this early.
No.
Can you save those biggies towards the end of the link? Then we can have like a big da-da. But no, it's all gone.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you. Here's the thing. I'd like to know. I'd like your advice on something, if I could.
Yeah.
How strict are you on sell-by dates?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I don't mean Mark Sell-by.
Something tells
snooker
me
champion.
Alan and I might have a difference of opinion on this.
Well,
I think we've discussed this.
I ate poulet recently, and
Sorry?
chicken.
Yes, I'm aware what it is.
Chicken.
Yes, and it was a bit. The state of poulet was not great because it was 2 days out, and I thought 2 days out, that's nothing. You know, they err on the side.
Wait, a poulet?
Yeah.
2 days out?
2 days out, 2 days post sell-by.
Yeah.
And you know what? I cooked it, and even when it was cooking, you know the smell of a chicken cooking, oh, lovely. It had a slight... as if I was also cooking polystyrene. There was something... Something in the air. Who was it who said?
I believe it was Bill Collins.
Something Jackson.
Collins.
Who's the one who did Call Out the Thunderclap Newman?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how he got that nickname. Aye? Anyway...
so the 2-day-old
I started eating it, and I suddenly became incredibly angry. There was something wrong. You know what I mean? It was a bit... cheesy chicken, and it's
a vile.
So
that actually sounds delicious, but that's a side issue.
Yeah, well, no, it's a bit wrong. I wondered if it's the French formula for relationships, half your age plus 7. I wonder if there's anything like that for sell-by dates.
I'll tell you what it is. Read the sell-by date, I call it.
Yeah, but I think they are a springboard.
I think smelling it.
Oh, here we go.
I don't think they're a rule. I think they're a springboard for decision making.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was just demonstrating that I could get my tea in time. When I got there...
I thought you were demonstrating the principle of cutting it fine.
Well...
Yeah.
Yes, as in sell-by dates in life. No, what I got when I got to the kettle, horror of horrors. Look at my invisible watch. I hadn't put the hot water in the cup. I thought it was a brewing. But so I had to boil the kettle up again. I mean, it was a much bigger procedure than I'd anticipated. Here we are.
I suppose looking back on it, it's better that you didn't run off for it in the previous link.
Yes. Well, what I would have done, I would have abandoned. I wouldn't have tried that. I was confident this time, but it was quite close. I actually did the first part of this link standing, which some presenters here do as a matter of course because it gives you more energy. But who wants that?
No.
Who wants to listen to
not
someone
have a
going, hey, come on, guys. Ugh, shut up.
Yeah.
Now, those are the Are You Having a Good Time presenters.
yeah.
May I never become that. You having a good time?
They don't say anything, they just sort of shout.
I pray that they'll get nothing back of people. You go on at the festival, you having a good time?
And you know, I find these people very presumptuous. They say, "Are you having a good time?" There's always this assumption that they are having a good time.
No,
it's
but
not a genuine inquiry.
They're after a brutish, simple
course they
response.
are.
There's no space for nuance. There's no, look, to be completely straight with you, I'm a bit anxious about my partner who went to get burgers 3.5 hours ago.
There's no individualism with these people.
Anyway, so I was eating this chicken. And
I'd like to ask you a question about the chicken. Had it previously been opened and then left, or was it sort of sealed up and then you cooked it?
No,
Does
it
that make
was.
sense?
It was sealed up. I hadn't taken it out and used it as a centerpiece at meals. That's what you suggested. It was straight from the fridge in its wrapping.
Yeah.
But as I ate it, and it tasted strange. You know, it tastes strange, and you have another bit, and it still tastes strange. And I remember thinking to myself, look, I've got a few bob. I don't have to take these kind of risks anymore. So I abandoned it. I threw the whole thing away. And I always hate throwing food away. My dad used to say, if you throw bread on the fire, the devil will come. And that...
It's a very modern approach.
I believe
Him
he
and
was
his
a food
modern
technician,
ways.
wasn't he?
I don't know why more of the charities don't use that kind of slogan. It's right up there
I
if you
do.
give a man a fishing rod, you know. If you throw bread on the fire, the devil will come. Oxfam.
I opened and consumed pate that was a full fortnight out of date.
Well,
It's
pate.
fairly
See,
recent.
pate. I'm putting chicken and pate in dangerous characters food.
Although I'm putting, I consumed pate that was a fortnight out of date into the box of The Struggle is Real. I mean,
Humble brag.
come on, my pate seemed a bit off. Something my parents would have said.
I think if you're going to eat pate that's 2 weeks old, you need a ring of blokes around you going, pate, 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 making you, leading you on to make you do it.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about dungarees, and attention must be paid to Omar, who's your tour manager.
Yes, my tour manager, I forgot. He not only wears dungarees, but he wears a sort of I'm going to say a sort of Andy Pandy candy stripe dungaree.
Oh, really?
And he wears them with, you know, people who wear things with confidence, that they can wear anything. And
They sound comfy.
yeah.
Can I just say,
But he just
that's
sent
a
me
real fashion slam if someone says that to you. I said that once at a black tie event.
That's like, you look well.
Oh, I had a dress on and a woman said to me, "You look very comfy."
No.
Deleted
Yeah.
from the contacts list. Back to you, Frank, in the studio.
Yeah, so Omar has just sent me a picture of himself as an aide-de-memoire that he is, I think Omar is a little over 40, not much, only just over the boundary. But he wears it well. I say if you wear things with bravado, I mean, I think I mentioned last week that I tried on a leather dungaree at...
Yes, you did.
what was the name of that?
It's-
Armani, yeah.
Yeah. 367 has suggested the upper age for wearing dungarees is when your bladder doesn't allow you enough time to get them off.
That's a very good point. Yes. I
Doesn't say
remember...
what age 367 is.
Yeah, I remember saying that to my son. Come on, Orion up in the toilet. And he said, I'm wearing a one piece. And it was oh, yes, sorry, I noticed. That is a, you don't want that, all your tops hanging down on the toilet floor. So sell-bys, can I ask you a question?
701 has
sorry.
actually asked you a question about that, if I may.
Fire it.
Frank's dodgy chicken, his description sounds like he roasted a whole chicken, then sat down to tuck into it by himself.
That is true.
I'm envisaging a serviette tied around his neck and giant carving cutlery held aloft ready to go, as a character in a Warner Brothers cartoon might do. Is my interpretation accurate?
It's not that far away. When I grew up, the definition of an influencer would include Desperate Dan from the Dandy,
Yes.
who ate a lot of whole
Cow
food.
pie.
Whole food had a different meaning then. Whole food was a whole chicken, a whole cow. But yeah, see, no one else would eat it in our house because it was past
Smelly.
its sell-by date.
Oh,
So Kath wouldn't eat it because she's very sensitive about food poisoning and the like, and she wouldn't let me feed it to our child because that would be cruel. So I had to take it on, but I lost my nerve on it. Probably would have been all right.
I'll tell you, here's what I think about sell-by dates. I feel there are certain foods I'm willing to cut them some slack. For example, may I present the cheese? I feel with cheese, look, we're already dicing with danger anyway on the smell front.
Yeah.
If things are off, they stay off for a little longer.
But people eat blue as well. They eat blue cheese, so...
That's what I mean. I don't. If we're in that area anyway of mould, I can handle that with my cheese.
yeah.
It's certain. It's when we come to chicken, and I think that was a grave mistake you made, Frank.
Do you?
I really do.
Well,
Right, right.
yesterday we finally cut the Alice Cooper cake, and I think it was 2 weeks old because we couldn't bear to cut it because it was Alice Cooper, and Boz had a nice big slice of that, and then at the end of it we noticed that the whole bottom of the cake was covered in mould.
Yeah.
But he's lived; he's fine.
That's a relief.
So yeah, child eats
Wow.
mould, dog dropped on head. What are we doing to
headlines
the
of the
world? Yeah. Police! Police!
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Frank,
Mm-hmm.
what else happened to you on your little week away?
I'll tell you what happened. What happened is I rented a place for the family. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, it turned out to be arguably the worst holiday I've ever had, but we won't. Let's not. Let's not. We don't really want to go. Oh God, I should. If I get this close, I know I'll keep going.
I mean, you have in the past aired dirty laundry as
No,
sort
but
of
this was
comedy
so
entertainment.
me. We got to a point at the end where my partner said she'd had a discussion with her sister to say that they thought family holidays were no longer a viable proposition because of me.
Right.
That was a difficult conversation to have. But anyway,
Did she say that?
well, I think it's a group decision.
Well,
It's
they've all
fine.
been there.
What have you been doing?
I don't know. I think of myself as a very nice man.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so...
Well, I have the same problem in that I think of myself as a very nice man, and then lots of people have severed contact with me. So maybe
No, me
it's,
too. I think we're all quite difficult.
maybe it's pigs
Oh,
in a pod.
Do you? Do you think we're
really?
all quite difficult and objectionable? Why
Maybe.
do
I
people?
hope
Why
not.
do people find
I
us?
want to be a nice man.
No, we're not. Well, I think we're just high maintenance, maybe.
I think I'm going to find out that they are continuing to have family holidays, but not telling me.
The producer is on the floor.
Still, I can always mind the dog, I suppose. That's turned out well.
Were you starting arguments with people?
I don't.
I think maybe you were.
but not. No. I had.
Come on.
I just think when you're in a relaxed. Look, I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to open any wounds. But I just
That
think when
sounds
you're
like you might have spent all week doing that.
when you're on holiday, you want to relax a bit.
And start a few
Anyway,
rows.
there are some situations, I said this, there are some situations where you make people happy by arriving and somewhere you make them happy by departing. And I think when I left, I had to leave early to come home for the radio show. I think I heard whooping. It could have been the engine. It could have been the engine sound, but I think I heard like a big, if you went past someone's house the day Andy Murray won Wimbledon, you'd have, you hear that cheer go up when it happens from people just spontaneously happy.
Is it?
I think I heard that as I left.
You see, I would say in some ways, the laughter you bring, you've got to pay a little tax on that.
Well, I don't know.
Do people pay too much tax, maybe?
I don't know. I think it's a tithe system I've introduced. I don't know what's going to do now. I don't know who else am I going to go on holiday with. I'll have to be a holiday alone.
Why don't the three of us, given that we seem to upset people, we should just all go together?
I think Al's still doing the family holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
guess what his response to that was?
Anyway, it's... you remember when I said I did the book club with my family, and it was such a tense, difficult...
I do remember that, yeah.
But I'd never ever do the book club again. Well, here we are.
Well, what they said was, we can't do
the
it with you anymore.
history book on the shelf is always repeating itself. Holidays, book clubs and holidays.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
When I was famous, I used to have an office in West London, and Absolute still think I am, don't tell them. And there was a knock at door, and not at the reception. They didn't knock, they pressed the thing. And it was the Cheeky Girls, before they were known as the Cheeky Girls, with their mother. Margaret. Everybody, down to Margaret. And they did that thing of arriving in like long coats, and they said, "We've come to see Frank." And then they
thing, like Kafka's The Trial?
No, but you know that. You know when people have a long coat on in a saucy 60s movie, underneath it's going to be. And they did that. Mm-hmm. But they couldn't actually get through to me. Reception intercepted them, and they weren't allowed in.
Oh, no.
I want to know what they were called.
What were they called?
I know what they were called before they were the Cheeky Girls. Were they called the Insouciant Women?
I think they were called La Twin Impertinent. I think was their type.
One of them, of course, dated Lembit.
Yeah, that was Gabrielle. That was a fabulous quote from Margit. She said, they talk about all intellectual things together, like astronomy. And I knew from having met Lembit that he's what you might call it astronomy. I don't know if Professor Brian Cox would term it as such. He was one of these people who believes there's an enormous meteor heading towards the Earth that could strike us at any time.
Oh, dear.
If you're calling that astronomy, that's what they discussed. Anyway, touch my meteor. This is astronomy. Oh, dear. I've really lost. No, I've just...
Do you know what? We're not going to better that.
I've opened up so many emotions. I just don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Let's have a break, for goodness sake. I'm just going to cry. I'm just going to cry for 2 minutes. I'll be great.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Okay.
I was thinking about, last week you pulled me up on the Doctor Who thing. And you said, when did you last listen to Doctor Who?
I find that very hard to believe that I would have done that.
Yes, and it was the Thursday before. I was thinking yesterday, just occurred to me when I went to bed, that I drove back from toaster, which is like a 2-hour drive for me, listening to an audio drama with the Sylvester McCoy doctor for 2 hours. I got home, I watched Rose as a walk down memory lane, which is the first of the modern era Doctor Who's.
All right.
And then I went to bed and watched 2 episodes of Enlightenment with Peter Davidson.
Okay.
That's how I deal with my heartaches.
Oh, is that
Some people do.
How's that working
Yeah,
out
that's
for
it.
you?
Some people do therapy. I do.
I do
all
therapy.
the eras, audio
say-
Doctor Who, vintage Who.
I would say I do therapy, you do Gallifrey.
Order! That's very good. Well, I'll tell you a little less personal, quite personal stuff about my holiday from hell. We had a pool.
Okay.
Nice.
I thought I'd get a
The
place
struggle
at
is
the pool.
real.
Get a place at the pool. The family liked to swim, so I pushed the float out, as it were.
Very good.
And the problem with the pool, I knew it wouldn't be for me because it had a deep end. Now, I'll be completely straight with you. I like to swim. I enjoy swimming, but I can't go out my depth.
No.
I'm too frightened. I'm laying it
You're
on the line.
Relatively latecomer to
I'm a
swimming,
latecomer,
aren't you?
2013.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would walk from the not the narrow end, the shallow end.
Yeah.
I'd walk from the shallow end
The other direction.
to the point where my chin was in the water, and then I'd turn and swim back the sort of 8 feet. I just did that over and over. That was what I was doing. And then it was just me and my 9-year-old son, and he said, let's have a race up and down the pool. And I said, well, the thing is, I can't really go in that end. And he said, oh, okay. I said, have I let you down? And he said, sort of. And I thought, oh, no.
Fair play that he left a grey area there rather
Yeah,
than just a
exactly.
direct. Yes, you have.
Yes. Well, he
Yeah,
might
but
as well.
on the plus side, Buzz, you're in a nice pool in a nice
Yeah,
country
exactly.
house.
And he's a brilliant swimmer.
That's the tax you pay.
And he's one of my great achievements in life. Is I always said I'm going to make him a great swimmer, so he's not that pathetic, get sand kicked in your face character that I've been my whole life. And he swims like something piscine. But imagine my horror when I saw a newspaper article upon my return
Oh, yeah.
that not only had swimming in it, but it had people swimming. I'm talking about the sky pool.
It's the sky
pool.
pool.
The sky pool, let it bubble.
Been the talk of the town, hasn't it?
It's really, I watched a video of it. It's really something. And what they've done,
Oh, I bet you did. What time of night was that?
in case you haven't seen Sky Pool, it's a big see-through swimming pool suspended between 2 skyscrapers just south of the Thames in
It's in central London.
It's really quite, Man on Wire.
Yeah.
If you can imagine Man on Inflatable. It's like you look up and there's
Man
people.
on tire.
Yeah, people swimming. In the air.
I don't want to see your Speedos when I look skywards. People's hairy legs treading water.
Well, you were. In about 5 years, it'll just be, you'll just see the bottom covered in plasters.
Oh, I hope that'll be good if it's all algae.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I saw a canal tunnel this week. That if you go through it on a proverbial narrowboat thing, you're in it for 25 minutes in the tunnel.
Gosh.
Just saying. Okay.
We're talking about...
I think you are just saying, aren't you?
I am literally just saying. I'm not adding
that's
anything.
what I thought.
I'm just giving it as information.
Do you like my response? Gosh.
I like that thing. I don't know if they, that thing they do in tunnels on narrowboats where they lie on their backs and sort of walk on the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that? There's a term for it.
Oh.
It's something like sculling, or it isn't that. But
Narrowboats aren't really my
Right.
area. But I would say the sky pool,
Yeah, I can see you in the sky pool.
I can't.
No?
Really?
I have a major, major problem with swimming pools out of context.
Oh, okay.
So what I mean by that is, well, I'm sure you can imagine what I mean by that. Swimming pools in any sort of professional, city, urban environment make me sick.
Right.
So there's a members club in London where they have this, and there are people sort of having business meetings and a coffee, and you hear them discussing things, and then some man or woman will emerge out of the water. It's like a dog coming out of a pond. And I just, it's not
Well, I
right.
went to Soho House at where the BBC used to be at Wood Lane, and
right.
they've got a swimming pool. And I went. It was a hot day, and it was like I was in a building where there was on one floor. I got in the lift. There were people wearing suits and dresses. I got out, people in hardly anything at all, all working on their laptops. So I remember that I thought that they had bikinis and speedos, but at the laptops, I thought they will end up with a tan line that will be like the Teletubbies, where you get that rectangle. But yeah, it shocked me seeing people with. I went to the bar and there's a woman with a bikini getting served. I didn't know where to look. It was awful, embarrassing.
National Lampoon's Animal House.
There is a set how far from the beach you can go in speedos or a bikini,
Oh,
and it's not West London.
Yeah.
At least wear some sort of sarong. Slip into a sarong.
Or maybe a Miu Miu.
Why do I know what a Miu Miu is? What is that?
Get
What is it?
involved. Get involved, Frank.
What is a Miu Miu?
Sort of caftan type arrangement.
Is it really?
Yes.
A Miu Miu. I'll have to look into that.
Okay. Can we
I don't want to be in a room with a Miu Miu.
return to the sky pool?
Let's talk about this. I'm going to be completely serious for 1 second. When I saw the video of it, I thought it looked amazing. I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I agree.
Also, people were on about how high it would be. But I remember I was offered Celebrity Shark Cage.
Oh, yeah.
And I said I was the only person turning it down because I was frightened of water. I'm fine with the sharks. If we can do a shark version when they're on skateboards or something in a controlled environment, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with them being carried in by people in all black, like East European puppeteers. But I will not go in the water. That was my condition.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Of course, when I look at this sky pool, the see-through thing, I cannot help but to remember what symbolised glamour when I was a child.
Okay.
And that was TV adverts of Botlin's Holidays, where you were having lunch in the restaurant there, and Uncle Paul swam past in the glass swimming pool, so you could swim down and swim past diners and give your family the thumbs up, And I just thought, wow, imagine that.
Oh, how lovely.
Imagine to swim past people having their sort of scampi and chips and smoking. Mm-hmm. Uncle Paul was the only person in the picture who wasn't smoking, and that's because he was underwater. They were 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
Can I say?
Presumably he had one by the side of the pool.
That never stopped my parents smoking being underwater.
To be
Can I
fair,
say?
I think the children in the footage, they were smoking tipped. To be fair, I don't even think there was no concern shown for but yeah.
So
Thumbs up from Uncle Paul. I never tell you, I did a thumbs up once in a paparazzi picture. And the paparazzi guy said, don't do thumbs up. The only thumbs up pictures we ever print are Paul McCartney. Interesting tip. Yes, so it really does look gobsmacking. I
Well,
think.
It's amazing.
There has been some controversy surrounding
There has.
Skypool because, well, do you want to explain what it is?
Yeah, the architect that suggested that they should also have see-through walls and floor in the changing rooms, they had to get rid of him. That was a filthy creep move.
But
No, I'm
in
just
addition to that,
It basically joins two worlds, doesn't it? It's suspended between one world and another.
yes, I'm afraid they have introduced a controversial policy, which is that those people, some of the flats, I believe, are shared ownership and some are owned outright. And it's only the outright owners who are allowed access to the pool.
Yes.
They have a different door, don't they? They've
have a
got a
different
nice
door.
door, and the rest of them have what they call a poor door.
They're not allowed to use the pool.
But they pay more, don't they, the private owner ones?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's not a new concept, is it? I find if I go to the cinema, if I pay more, I get better seats. I think it's something that's
Okay,
been
but
done.
someone doesn't erect a cinema screen in your home and say you can't use it.
No. Well,
Thank you.
I think
Your move.
as I understand it, the affordable housing people are seen as a verruca hazard. And I think that's the reason that the door remains ever locked.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Would you get in this?
It's
Sorry,
sort of
Al.
like is it called a Rorschach test, where you look at something and it's two
Rorschach.
different ways?
Yeah.
Is that how you say
No,
it?
you might be
Never.
right. Your pronunciation
It's
is
the one,
probably right.
the one
How
when you
you say
you put paint into a folded piece of paper.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a bit
it's
like that for me, 'cause
Rorschach.
That's what I
Because he's
thought, yeah.
the character in Watchmen.
I've never,
I think so.
I've never said it out loud.
Okay.
But I looked at it and thought, I wonder if people are more afraid of the swimming or the heights, because for me it's definitely the heights. And so I broke with a tradition of mine, and I looked at the comments on the news story, because I've stopped looking at comments because, I'm not really that interested in what other people think anymore. But I'm glad I did, because one of my favourite comments on any story ever, somebody in the comments had put, "Will collapse eventually, water very heavy."
Good point. Good point.
Were they medieval? That sounds like someone from 1381 saying that.
Yeah, I wonder if the civil engineers have considered that water might be, quote, very heavy.
Water in the sky will collapse.
I must admit, if I went in, I'd put helium in my water wings. So if it went, I could just slowly glide down to the floor and just land amidst all the bodies and broken glass.
That's a good idea.
Imagine the tragedy. It would be a horrible thing to see if it went. Imagine somebody desperately reaching out for a noodle, thinking it might help them hold them up. Oh, God, awful.
It'd be like in action films when someone shoots a fish tank or something. It's all.
Would you go in it, Al?
I would, but I'd be way more concerned about the heights. The swimming pool bit, I think I would really like, but I think I definitely wouldn't go in it at the time when the wave machine is on.
No. I think that...
I don't think they've put a wave machine. I was just being silly.
I know you were. But I love you for that. You haven't lost that, Al. I'd feel a bit exposed in there, because I'd feel people on the street looking up and saying, "Who's that man who's mainly walking?"
Oh, we'd see your trick, Frank.
Oh,
that you
no.
walk on the bottom of the pool.
How awful that would be. I couldn't cope.
I just think it's unsightly. I really do.
Really?
I really genuinely do. In a city environment, I don't want to see that.
Oh, well,
Okay.
So what were they meant to do? They got a deal on Perspex. I mean,
Acrylic.
Can you imagine someone saying, "Who's that bloke in the snorkel huddled in one corner?" "Oh, it's David Blaine. He's sorry, we can't get rid of him, dear." Awful. I'll tell you something. I wouldn't do the backstroke in that. You feel you wouldn't get your money's worth, would you, if you were doing the backstroke? You want to be looking down and seeing people.
How high are the edges? That's what. How high is the edge?
Yeah.
How high is the edge? U2 fans? At 12:15. I mean, do people sit on the edge and stuff that high up?
Well, you better ask him.
Yeah, I'm sure people have in the past.
Yes.
But never took the hat off. Fair enough. Probably worried about it banging against the headboard. I don't want to get a head injury. So,
no diving.
well, I wouldn't.
No bombing.
I'd go in, but I'd be. It depends. I don't know if there's a deep end in the sky pool. If anyone knows, I'd be happy to find out.
We might have some residents listening.
We might have. I doubt it.
Do you
Maybe
think
some
not?
people from the affordable housing. But what will they know? Just look out your window, crane your neck round the side, and see if you can see there's any edges on the sky pool. We're all in this together. Well, not the sky pool, obviously.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Nancy Kelsall
Nancy Kelsall
has tweeted to say, I thought my husband was the only one with a Doctor Who habit like yours. Good to know.
There's a few of us around.
Yes, I know you when I see you. My husband said Enlightenment is a good story. I just nod along now.
Yes. It's.
I mean, he might have been talking about the European Enlightenment and she just wasn't listening.
Yeah, or the Edinburgh Enlightenment, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Did I tell you when I went to a talk about the Edinburgh? There was a period in Edinburgh in the 18th century when all these scientists and philosophers all burst out of Edinburgh. And there was a bloke talking about that, a historian, Scottish historian, who's quite a scary bloke, I think dour is the word that people use. And they had questions and answers, and someone said, do you think there could ever be another Edinburgh Enlightenment? And he said, the future is not my period. That was that.
That's
moving on.
Broadly true of many historians, you'd think.
Yeah, exactly. Not Doctor Who, of course.
No, true.
Linking it all back
He seems to
together.
get all over the place.
He does. He's in and out.
You've had a bit of respect under Frank. 465
Not this week,
has
I haven't.
texted. No, you have.
Oh, I've had good.
During the show.
Okay.
465 has texted. Please will you thank Frank for talking about horses counting with their hoof. You've just put a smile on my face remembering Mr. Ed, the TV talking horse.
Well, yeah, he didn't need to count with his hoof. He could speak. I don't know if you remember.
Just asked Alexa.
Yeah, the talking. That was. It was such a great show. Did you ever watch it?
No, how did they get him to talk? Was it cruelty?
Well, no, there was
Peanut
two
butter.
There was two methods: the cruel and the not cruel. The uncruel, saving the best till last. The uncruel was animated mouth. A very roughly animated mouth, quite cheaply done. And the cruel version
you go and
was
save the best to last.
They used to put peanut butter on the roof of Mr. Ed's mouth,
That's really cruel.
and that would make him lick, and it would look like he was he's speaking, and then they'd put the voice. Obviously, they put the voice on. If anyone's watching who thought they actually had a talking horse, I'm sorry to break that.
If there's anyone who saw that at the time, congratulations on making it this far in the century.
I don't see how you can...
I doubt anyone who saw it live is still with us, Frank.
No, probably not.
I don't
Sorry, Al.
understand why you can say it's cruel, because in one version the horse got some peanut butter, which is good, and in the other version they didn't. So surely...
Yeah, but
I'd
roof
flip
of
it
the
round.
mouth. It's. I suppose it got it off eventually.
Yeah.
It's scary work as well, putting peanut butter on the roof of a horse's mouth.
If any producers or directors are out there wanting to employ me in return for putting peanut butter on the roof of my mouth, I'm available. Speak to my people.
Well, okay, fair enough. Do you want some jelly with that? You want some jelly? I get you some jelly, or are you going to the jar? Sorry about that.
Can we finish very quickly? The
I
last
usually
word
do, darling.
All right, Craig Revel. Final word on degrees from Phil. Dungarees. From Phil C. 10. But it reopens again from the ages of 18 to 22 if you study art history.
Wow, that's a very precise. I wonder if Prince William wore them. I think he did art history. I imagine he'd wear his with a nautical air. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Mummy, could you get me some nautical dungarees? Very, very helpful. Okay. My poetry podcast is available. Series 3 is available wherever you usually get your podcasts, and there's a new episode every Wednesday. This week, Peter Riley, when I come up spontaneously on air with my favourite ever definition of what poetry is. It just happened.
Oh, wow.
So it just happened to me.
It's a brilliant podcast.
But, oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I love you guys out there. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.